you're struggling in Diamond Rank in Fortnite Chapter 5 Season 2, this video is for you. No matter what rank you're struggling with, you can apply all these tips in your Fortnite rank journey. I will have a step-to-step guide how you guys can gain the most percentage in every ranked game you play. I will also give you guys extra tips on your fighting skills, what loadouts to carry, where to drop, and how you can win every ranked game you play. No matter if you're more of a passive player or more of an aggressive player, this guide can help anybody. I will start from all the way from early game to all the way to end game. Now, let's get into the video. The first tip I'll give you guys is warm up in creative. Make sure you're spending at least 15 to 30 minutes in creative practice maps. Make sure you're warming up your mechanics, your aim, your edits, and your piece control. Trust me, if you don't do this, you'll be at a massive disadvantage compared to other players that have been playing for hours upon hours in ranked. Just one missed shot or one missed edit can obviously cost your whole game. So obviously make sure you warm up your mechanics, your aim, and edits, and piece control. Also, the second tip I'll give you guys real quick is make sure you're still improving in the game every day. And also, make sure you're working on your weaknesses. For example, let's say you have really bad aim. So when you go warm up, obviously spend 5 or 10 minutes on your edits, your piece control, and your builds, then do like the last 20 minutes on your aim, so you can improve on your weaknesses. Most players just practice on what they're already good at. But you want to make sure you can improve your weaknesses so you can balance your game out so you can be a much better player. Another quick tip I'll give you guys is make sure you play solos. Solos is the fastest way to rank up compared to duos, trios, and squads. Solos also improve your fighting skills because you're not depending on your other teammates like Timmy carrying you all the time. But if you really just don't want to play solos, the second best game mode would be duos, then it'd be trios, then squads. So the more players, the worse. The third tip I'll give you guys is find a consistent drop spot. This will be depending on what type of player you are. If you're more of a passive player or aggressive player. If you're more of an aggressive player, land at one of the 4 medallion spots. Or depending on a bus, if it's a hot drop, you can land at that hot drop. But if you're one of the more passive players, land at a POI without a medallion, or even a non-POI with really good loot. Make sure your place has a bunch of loot. Don't land outside with a place that only has like 3 chests and 2 ammo boxes. Get a good spot with plenty of chest and floor loot spawns. Make sure you memorize chest spawns, floor loot spawns, and yes, every floor loot spawn. When you do this, it gains you a big advantage against most players, because most players don't take time out to memorize chest and floor loot spawns. If you want to memorize the chest and floor loot spawns really quickly, use this website called Fortnite.gg. It helps you find where all the chest spawns are, floor loot spawns, basically shows where everything is. Learning where everything is will help you fight off spawn so much better. You'll be able to gain a lot more kills. You'll be able to even win your POI. Another thing I would practice is how you skydive down in your area. Most players do not calculate how they're going to drop at certain areas. They just kind of skydive down and just pull up the glider whenever. You want to make sure that you're calculated and that you can be the first one to land at your POI. Now, let's talk about early game fighting. If you suck at early game fighting, don't land at a hot drop. I know I said this earlier, but you want to make sure you're landing somewhere low key, especially if you're not very good at fighting or you're not very good fighting off spawn, because you're just going to keep dropping rank. I forgot to mention this, but this is how the rank system works. It counts placement way more than kills. You will be rewarded more if you get a top 5 with 0 kills compared to having like 5 or 6 kills off spawn. Placement is very heavy in rank. It's like a 75-25, so 75 placement and 25 kills. Okay, anyways, let's get back to early game fighting. Make sure to find your strengths and also find your weaknesses and work on your weaknesses in creative. You want to rely on your strengths when you're playing actual game. Let's say your strengths is building. So obviously when you get in fights, you want to make sure you kind of overbuild. Obviously you still want to fight, but you want to make sure you build more and play to your advantage. So make sure you always have high ground, applying pressure. Another tip I'll give you guys is find your ideal loadout. This season of Fortnite is crazy with the OP SMGs, ARs, and that stupid Zeus mythic. So it's important to find your ideal loadout. If you W key a lot or play really passive, it doesn't matter. Make sure to grab the new Gatekeeper shotgun. The reload time is insanely fast and does lots of damage compared to the hammer pump and the auto frenzy shotgun. The only downside to it is it only has 3 bullets in a clip. But there is an attachment you can get. You can get 5 bullets in each magazine. Your SMG or AR should be the new Warforged AR. It has a really fast fire rate. It can also hold up to 45 bullets in each magazine, which is just crazy to me. And also, you can treat this like an SMG AR hybrid. If you're playing no builds rank, you should carry the DMR because this gun does 107 damage in the head with the grain variety. You can also treat this like a sniper, and it only holds 7 bullets in each magazine. The movement you should be using is the shockwaves. You could probably say you can use the wings, but you could easily get beamed out of the sky carrying those, so I would highly recommend carrying shockwaves. You can also use the Fizzberry for movement and heals if you want to too. Speaking on heals, you should be carrying big pots and minis. But if you can't find any of those, obviously carry Chug Splashes. Now, let's talk about mid-game. This will be depending on how you play in your early game. Let's say you're fighting a lot in early game. You want to take it slower when it comes to mid-game because you want to make sure that you're looted, back, and ready to fight for endgame. Okay, let's say you played passive and you have little to no kills. You need to engage into fights. You want to make sure that you're getting some fighting towards endgame because having no kills going to endgame will cause you to play scared and not confident because you haven't fought anybody all game. Make sure to get into some action. Fighting is everybody's strength. So the thing you want to do is you want a third party fights. I know it's annoying, but everybody does it, and you can get some easy kills and some easy eliminations by killing people that are one shot and that have been fighting for a while. If you already have a bunch of eliminations, you want to make sure you rotate towards dead side, which basically is where the bus is. You want to rotate on the opposite side of that. And when you do this, you set yourself up for endgame perfectly. Make sure you're stacked for endgame with 555 wood, brick, and metal, that you have good weapons and lots of heals. Now, let's talk about endgame. Endgames in Diamond Rank are very stacked, and players try very hard to get the best placement. The thing you want to do is you want to rotate early to every zone. Most players rotate very late and always get held. So you want to be that person holding players in zone. You want to be very spammy with your AR and SMG, and at a certain point, take height. If you aren't applying pressure to your opponents all the time, they can regain their thoughts and reload all the weapons and heal. Endgame is super simple. Get refreshes when you're low on mats, and always apply pressure to opponents on low ground when you have high ground. The last tip, and probably the most important tip, is have a positive mindset. Over half your games will depend on how your mindset is. You want to have a positive mindset because you'll have situations in the game you can't control, and the best thing you can do is keep cool, and sometimes you might even need to have to get off the game for a little bit and go for a walk and touch some grass. Fortnite isn't all that serious, and treat it that way. Just make sure you're improving and grinding every day. Become the best player that you can become. Alrighty guys, that is all I have for you guys today. If you guys really enjoyed this type of video, okay, make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below what tip helped you guys the most. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!